What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream. Where we're back in our Deck 9 project, a game built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, C++, blueprints, the gameplay ability system plugin, and all of that good stuff. So today, we're going to continue with our bow and arrow mechanics, try to clean up some stuff, and then we're going to jump into some weapon design, weapon inventory design, and see what we really want to accomplish. Do we want the main character to always have, both the sword and bow and arrow combination, or is there going to be different types of characters that could have two different combinations of weapons? Can you mix and match that kind of vibe, really? So that's what we're going to try to figure out. I don't want to overdo anything. I don't want to over-engineer anything. So when we jump into the game, right now we have our basic melee attack, right? And then we have a hold. Let's just do that. Obviously, we're not blocking everything correctly, but we'll fix that soon. But then we have a basic bow shot kind of mechanic, right? So it's like bam, bam, and I can interrupt it, do a little bit of a dance. So we're gonna have to kind of fix all of that, but baby steps. So what do I want to do, right? So probably gonna be put for my inventory system at some point, but there needs to be pretty much like a back socket for these things, right? So like I attach it to spine 03 by default, or when we hide the sword, right? And we know that works with specific transform and everything like that. But I do wonder if we need to do the same by default, for the sword. So I wonder what this looks like in practice, right? Because we're attaching it to the range weapon socket, nothing else except for scale there to make the sword, make the bow a little bit longer. So I wonder if we attach this to spine 03, what do we get? So yeah, we get some funky stuff, right? So let's open up the character. So I would want to see where on the back potentially, we have some, spine 3, for example, right? Can we make like a socket on the spine 3 to say, because there is something called back accessories, so maybe it can go there. So that already kind of works. And if we just reduce the size, that by default looks pretty good. And we're on the back. We'll just see what it looks like in practice. So yeah, I think it needs to stick out a little bit, just because the hood is kind of messing with it. I feel like we can probably learn how to offset it. So we're looking at the Y. Probably a little bit of like the negative X, and maybe a little bit of pitch. So something to that effect, right? I think that looks better. And, from far away too, you're not going to see too much. And possibly you can keep the same scale, right? So like 1.2 by 1.2 by 1.5. Kind of big, but I think it looks pretty cool. Has an interesting silhouette. And then we press Y. We basically need to toggle the weapon being active. So let's do a custom thing here. Toggle bow mesh. And it's going to be a very similar concept here. Show. So when we show this thing, we pop it into the hand socket. So let me just remind myself here. So range weapon socket. And scale that. And then when it's back, we put it on back accessories, I believe it's called. And with the offset that we're kind of providing here, so -7 and 3. Zero. And then I believe it's just the pitch. No, sorry. Roll. Go 5. And then the same kind of scale. Now we should be able to go into that ability. Right, GA range attack bow. Should be able to make these calls. Eventually they'll be replaced with, like, you know, the inventory component or whatever we want to call it. And we'll say toggle bow mesh. And then we do the opposite front end. So in theory, we should see him activate correctly. So we go like that, and no. Okay. I know why we're not doing the right mesh here. So ranged. Oh no, it's weapon, right? So there's weapon. So yeah, refactoring this is going to be pretty interesting. So I guess we have to have weapon 1 and weapon 2. And potentially like weapon accessory, so that we have like the quiver, for example. Okay. Close. Am I stupid? Put weapon in. Okay. This should work. For some reason I thought I did it correctly. Go. And yeah, there's popping and stuff, but I don't think that really matters. We could have, you know, a callback notify and everything as well in here. We go like here. But like stow the sword too. But I think it might be okay that it just blinks, you know. You go like wham bam. We may have like an unequip thing for after this is done. Like if you don't spam it, you know, figuring out what that looks like. But now we should be able to make a projectile, right? we should already have like a projectile base. Oh, BP underscore bow arrow base, right? Gotta reconnect to our server here. If I can get the password right. There we go. Connect. So now we do need to get a callback, right? So we gotta go like pretty much at that moment we want to send a notify, right? So event we want to say don't necessarily have to do anything except the tag. So event.animation.range.shoot I think is applicable here. Go shoot, then do a event tag switch. That, and then, you know, for now we'll do spawn actor from class, bow, arrow base, and then we need to do here as target actor and instigator, totally fine. Collision handling, always spawn target actor. I don't think that needs to be the case here, but yeah, spawn transform. That's where I would probably need a helper function to get like the weapon mesh. So I'm not 100% sure. Let's look at our skeleton here. They have a bunch of bones, but they don't have like an ideal position where the bolt maybe at string, because that would be kind of pulled back. So again, we'll make a helper function or event here. This will be what's converted to some sort of component down the line. What's the word? Event, right? So, or helper function. So we're gonna say get bow weapon mesh. Bow. I mean, I guess we could literally just not even get that like that. We could just literally just get it since we have this, right? So we should be able to get bow. Get socket location, or can I say transform? Yeah. String. I think what it's called is a capital. Yeah, I don't know if that matters. But. So let's for now draw debug sphere. Nation. Break that radius 50, duration a second, thickness 1, and color purple pink. Let's take a look. If we press Y, seems reasonable. And possibly what we might want to do, you know, like once we can like, I guess, animate the bone, because there's this sequence, right? So we would have to also animate this in a kind of a similar way. You know what I mean? It's like I'm playing the shoot at like 1.5 play rate, so I would have to figure out like the keyframe in which to start pulling this back, you know? I have to like time scale it potentially to match in some way. I should have a bunch of meshes. There is an elf arrow, for example. That's nice. But yeah, that's basically nothing. Oh, we have some arrows. I just don't know what's intended with the set here. So there's bows, crossbows, quivers. So a bunch of those things, but yeah, what kind of arrows do we have? What? We have some arrows. For now, let's just take one, right? It's also bolts. Let's just grab one, right? I'll just grab this one. Looks cool. You know, we could also like attach it to like a hand socket, maybe. So maybe we can, I don't know, notify. Attach that projectile. So I'm curious what this will look like in practice, right? But I should be able to save that. It'll capture everything. So let me see. So if I decide to do that, I should be able to get skeletal mesh from actor info. Good socket transform. Or I'm gonna have to need static mesh component or there's like a free component or some sort, like add component of class, mesh component, that annual attachment target is going to be you. Set static mesh. We're just going to grab this. We'll have to make things soft references later. I also have to get like a reference to the type of bolts or bow, not bolts, but arrows that you have, and they could change at runtime, so it'll be. What should be interesting to try? So I just want to see. This will work. Now, can I say attach to component, and then it's going to be the skeletal mesh component. The name is going to be the right-hand socket, right? And underscore R socket. Is that correct? And underscore R socket. How does your play montage and wait return a gameplay tag? It's a custom task that we created. I think you can find it online too. I don't think I didn't invent it. But basically it allows you to listen internally within the montage state for gameplay events. And then you can use that as callbacks into your gameplay ability. Let me find it for you in my project. There you go. You can see it, what it does on GitHub. That's a source file, a CPP file. You'll just have to find the, what's the word? Source, the header file. So snap to target, snap to target, snap to target. So I wonder what this will look like in practice. I don't know if it's going to work or do anything. Okay. So we kind of see something. But yeah, the scale's messed up, seemingly. The relative transforms all kinds of messed up. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad to help. Guessing I had to do like 1.2 by 1.2 by 1.5 or some shit to make this be relative to the bow mesh. And the attachment's a bit off. Guessing because of where the socket is, or the origin. So we might need to offset it a bit. After we shoot, we should be able to just... But this is also not the best way of handling things, but because we're, you know, adding a component and destroying the component every time we fire the arrow, this will probably be something we could kind of automate potentially within the inventory system as well, where we just say, you know, draw arrow and it just unhides the mesh, attaches it, and releases it. Yeah, you could preview them in the what's the word? In the skeletal mesh of this guy. Yeah. So we could do that too. So we can look at, hand, our socket, add preview asset, or SM underscore arrow bow 2, right? We can also use the specific animation as part of the preview, so we could look at it. So we could, here's hand R socket, we could make another, I guess on hand R, we gotta add another socket. Where did that go? Oh, it's right here. We can call it hand underscore arrow socket. Let's delete that preview. Oh no. Remove the attach asset. Thank you. Send arrow bow 2. Yeah, so what we could say is let's temporarily make it the scale. Want, I guess, as well, we have hand L. We can attach a preview scale. SPL. Or no, SK bow 1. Definitely a kind of mismatch. Let me So it's never gonna look. It's not gonna look 1-to-1, unfortunately. I don't think. But I also think, yeah, the socket is gonna be bigger. But I think that looks close enough. Just to kind of confirm, I'm not really walking around with an arrow attached, right? Okay. We'll have to update the quiver and stuff, and also have like the meshes within them. I wonder if I can make like a particle effect that represents like the arrows and stuff. So every time you use an arrow, I can just like update the information on the particle effect to like show another arrow or remove another arrow. Hi, this character looks interesting. Thank you. This is not my kind of character. This is not my character. Like I just got it off of Fab. So, what are you building on? I'm using Unreal Engine 5 with the gameplay ability system. And, you know, we're working on some bow mechanics at the moment. So now, in theory, should be able to, instead of saying and our socket, I could just, I think, copy that in here. Oh. This way. Okay. I have to like reopen this asset so I can like see everything correctly. There we go. So let's see what this looks like in practice. So again, we're gonna be pretty far away, so it probably ultimately won't matter, but that looked pretty good. We'll slow down. I don't know why the bow, when we're attaching it to the right hand weapon socket, it looks pretty funky. Well, let's look again, because it's going like sideways. That sounds cool and interesting. I've known me, by the way, I'm a singer, composer, and work on vocals, soundtracks, in the game. Blah, blah, blah. If you ever need vocals, soundtracks, or want to explore ideas for your project, feel free to reach out. You can share my Discord with you if you don't mind. Feel free to, but currently not interested. Just working on my prototypes. Okay, so maybe when it's in this, we don't have to rotate it 90. It can just be 1-to-1. That looks good. But now, yeah, this component seems like it gets destroyed, but can I just set like mesh to null? Then can I say get static mesh? And then say, you know, set visibility. Go hide. Yeah, there doesn't seem like there's any visibility thing, so I'm hoping that's enough. Because yeah, the hope is it can just destroy itself, right? as soon as we let go, yeah. So now if we get the drawstring to pull back as well, that would be useful. And yeah, the tricky thing here is that this is animated in a specific way, right? So go whoop. But we have to somehow scale it with this animation. So we have to say, like, you know, from here to here, we have to like animate the weapon. And it has to kind of match from here to like there, you know what I mean? So for example, it's not gonna look correct, but we can at least look at it. So if I were to get the ranged bow, I think I could do play montage on this specific thing, right? I would have to make this a montage as well. So I'll just make a quick montage just for testing. So it should do something. It's not going to be lined up. But we should hopefully see it do something. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I was wrong. That's fine. Weird that it didn't do anything. Can I, as an example, so because it shouldn't have to have an animation blueprint, I don't think. But yeah, now I see it animating on my back, which looks pretty funny. We see it working. So I guess it needs an animation blueprint. There's nothing for it. So I'm gonna make a weapons folder, bow, should be able to create an animation blueprint, app underscore bow, or app underscore weapon underscore bow. Move that and that out to here. And I believe the bare minimum for me to get that to work is to just hit the or is it just slots, right? Or maybe I don't even need any. Would that be enough? So still not working. Like, we get here, right? I'm not crazy. Do I have to run an instance? Montage play? Can't tell. No. Why is that not working? Let me go to my character APP just to understand maybe what I'm missing. Feels like nothing's missing, or nothing should be missing. If I were to simply do it here. Do we get any change in behavior? I need to also make my zoom in stuff faster. I'm getting sidestepped here, so there should be like camera settings that I have still, right? We have camera zoom step. Let's just make it 50 for now. Because I'm not gonna have camera zoom down the line. But yeah, being able to just get in quicker will be a lifesaver. Yeah, still nothing really being animated. All seems fine. To me, maybe this is possibly the problem. What's like the bare minimum? You must have a slot, default slot, inserted between your animation pose and the final output. So do I need like a 1-frame pose or something? Did this come with anything? I don't like how there's different skeletal meshes too. Whoops. can I, for example, create a copy oh no. Yeah. Can I just say a underscore bows base bows? And then can I make this one frame? And then I use that as the pose. So can I remove frames 1 to 45 like that, right? And then can I the base pose and then do default slot like that? Is that now valid? Yes. Okay, so I should be able to just nuke that. And I should be able to kind of do what I was doing before, where I just do play montage. I can get the current montage. Hey, thanks for the sub there on YouTube. Much appreciated. Now I should be able to get play rate from this, right? Or get play length. I guess I could get the skeletal mesh component to get Atom instance. And then I should be able to get montage play rate, pass that in, and then pass that in, and then pass this in. But it's still gonna be not positioned correctly. Yeah, this is 2 times as fast. Am I getting that same value? Interesting, it doesn't return 2. There was set player rate, get effective. Okay, so this will hopefully return 2. Let's put a breakpoint. Now it's 2. So close.
We are going to digitize ourselves and give us digital immortality. We'll not only have biologic genetic immortality of some sort, but also digital.
I feel like there can be. I forget what they're called, like animation blueprint events, essentially. But like, what could be interesting is being able to understand from which frame, from this frame into that frame, at the same play rate, kind of adjust the actual play rate of this thing so it would match. I'm curious how I would accomplish that. Because I could make a notify state and just... there's a notify window. I wonder, is there a way to get a notify? Because this is what that would return, right? I don't think there's a way to actually get it. For now, I'm going to extrapolate that information myself. So we're going to go... So you want to... We can create a notify about here. Maybe another event temporarily. Draw. So we're going to say draw. Do this. Then we're going to extrapolate the rate. All right. So from frame 66, or sorry, not. Excuse me. So from time 0.67 to 110, right? So so 1.1 minus 0.67 is 0.43. So I gotta get the calculator back out again. So calc 0.43 by 2? No. 2 divided by 0.43, I guess. So 4.65 would be our estimated play rate to match. So let's see if that matches up. And I kind of want to go into my player controller and make the step for the slow-mo. Yeah. One. That seems slow enough. Let's look. Okay, so we never got the call back. So because of the... Okay. Even though I added the tag, it didn't show up. One more time for good luck. That looked all kinds of fucked up. seems fine. That's weird that that didn't look good. Okay. Let me just make it 22. Or maybe my timing was messed up. Because there's also that. But then the animation itself. From here to about 1.5 is the timing. So maybe it has to be like 3. Because yeah, to me, it's not pulling back all the way. It's going like to like here. Could also on shoot, we could say stop montage. Maybe that'll make it feel like it snaps back. No. Hmm. Just doesn't feel like it's going the whole distance, you know? Let's see. Doesn't seem like it plays correctly, honestly. Maybe it's because it also has blend in time and blend out. Just making guesses at this point. So let's see if it gets closer with 4. Kind of. By 5. That looks timing-wise about right, but it feels like it doesn't get stretched back nearly as much as it should. I wonder. If I could just copy this. And then in this base pose, I think I can add the string here. Should be able to add a key. Pull it back. So I'm no animator, so I gotta figure this out. So it's like I want everything is kind of just offset wrong. I'm not an animator, so I don't know. Does that look any different? Kind of. Does that make it longer though? Maybe the arrow can be a little higher. Socket. There's the bow, but where's the arrow?
There's an interaction between possible realities.
I think that's good. Let's try again. Close.
There's an interaction between possible realities.
6 looks like. Too fast and it just doesn't seem like it plays anything. I mean, in all honesty, that's probably good enough. Like you don't even see the drawstring get pulled from a distance. So it could be too much of a headache right now to even care. So now we can spawn this thing. And it'll be a fireball. Let's see. Oh. Interesting. Some mark for add. Yes, the issue is the spawn transform. Let's do a draw debug sphere. Let's just get the location on 1 and it's fine. Let's see if it makes sense. Seems okay. So projectile movement is homing projectile. No. Initial speed's fine. Rotation follows velocity. Projectile scale 0. Trail. Let's I want to see what the scale is, because maybe the rotation's all fucked up, and that's part of it, right? So that's why, bam. Scale. It's all sorts of wonky shit, so yeah. So we really just need the location, right? So we should be able to just get this location that we should be able to... Oh. We got a floppy cat over here. You can't really see her too well, but she's here. Right, Lola? But yeah, so we got that. So we got the location. So let's split this up. Eventually we're going to need to make some sort of, what's the word? Pooling system for projectiles as well. But another problem for a different day. We get that forward vector and then 1 scale. Now it should at least be smaller. And kind of come out appropriately. Yeah. So we have like a flame arrow, which looks cool. So bam. But see, we're gonna have to change it to be some sort of visible arrow with a pretty visible like trail on it. So, you know, for example, this will be all information from like the inventory system eventually, but get static mesh. On that. Now I should be able to say some other sort of trail, right? There's flame trail. Or basic trails. Rocket trail. Void trail, water trail. Simple ribbon trail. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see if it looks at all decent. A big flash of light that happens. I just grab another trail. That looks pretty cool. But yes, same problem. I remember I saw this before. I don't know what's wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure it has to do with one of these things. Like material properties, I just don't know which. So can I give it a sword trail? Seems like everything breaks. So let me... So... is it like a collision issue? Might have been a collision issue. But that looks pretty cool. Probably gonna have like a longer lifetime and probably be faster. Scale can probably be less. Initial speed. Rotation follows velocity, rotation rate vertical, fly projectile scale, should bounce. I don't know if I have a base parameter for lifetime, right? Number of ricochets, that's a thing. I don't think I need to have tick enabled. I think 1.5 is reasonable. And let's look at trail. Let's do fire trail. Probably too fast. Gets kind of lost in the sauce. I don't think it can accelerate up until that point, right? Maybe that's just not a good particle effect. That seems a little more reasonable. And if we look at the base, we have things that we could possibly override. I'll have to clean this up eventually too. My god. So there's some projectile stuff, there's damage. All that stuff I could possibly override. We'll get projectile damage. Let's see. 10. projectile healing, and then there's the on hit event. And then there's apply damage to target on hit, which I could also override. In theory, this should be enough to actually deal damage. Let's just look at it. Probably 1 second is a long enough lifetime. No. Let's spawn a guy. We don't have targeting yet, but in theory, this should hit him. What was the hope? There you go. So bam. But yeah, now targeting would be pretty useful, but that will be for next time. I could potentially use like the yaw control rotation and set the character forward, but you know, eventually it'll be, you know, the target like look at stuff. So now we have range attacks. Now we gotta stop you from spamming it, of course, and this breaks, so a lot of stuff to still kind of clean up, safeguard before we try to move it on over to better inventory management and slots and defining these things and making sure we're not spawning a component all the time. That's going to be handling the putting of the projectile in, and then we'll need to rethink maybe just to see how we can get this to play a little bit better. But yeah, for now I think it's okay. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still watching and you're not following me on Twitch, a follow would be much appreciated. Same for YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. Feel free to check out our Discord, share your projects, hang out, give us a chat. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you soon.